Hello everyone, and once again we are back with our circulatory system. We are going step by step, alright? So now I would like to tell you all about heartbeat, what is pacemaker, and the different types of blood vessels. It is gonna be very interesting as we go step by step. Now whenever we say heartbeat, you all know that, okay? You will always talk about it among yourselves, my heartbeat. Alright, you use it for your friends, you use it for your parents. So what is this heartbeat? Okay, what is actually a pacemaker? Alright, and the blood vessels, you all already know it, that we have three types of blood vessels: artery, veins, and capillaries. Okay, so in this class we are going to brief about our heartbeat, pacemaker, and the blood vessels. Okay, so we begin the class. So each heartbeat actually consists of two main steps. Before we go to that, you should know that the atria, that is your upper chambers, will contract first, okay? And it is followed by the contraction of the ventricles. Okay, so the contraction phase we have studied, it's known as your systole, and followed by the relaxation phase, that is your diastole. Okay, so each full heartbeat of a human actually lasts for about 0.85 seconds. We have to just remember this. And you should know that at the end of this ventricular systole, when we say ventricular systole means what? That means the ventricles contraction. So at the end of that, what happens? The ventricles begin to relax. That is, your ventricular diastole immediately begins. Meanwhile, the atrial will, what will they do? They were already in your relaxation states. That was your diastole. Now they will begin to contract. So this vice versa goes on. Yes or no? So therefore, the whole sequence of events in the heartbeat, okay, the whole sequence of the events in the heartbeat is called our cardiac cycle. So you should know what is a cardiac cycle. That means the whole sequence of the events in the heartbeat is called your cardiac cycle. Okay, so we have you to know one more thing, that is the heart sounds, that is lub and dub. We have already discussed about it, that when lub is produced and when dub is produced, which valves will close sharply to produce such kind of sounds. So the first sound, okay, is always your lub, and it is produced when there is a sharp closure of the tricuspid and the bicuspid valve. Please remember in this way, stepwise, we don't have to go in more details of it. You should know that the first sound is produced when and the second sound is produced when. Alright, so the first sound, lub, is actually, if you look at it, it is produced by, right, okay, whenever there is a sharp closure of the tricuspid and the bicuspid valve, okay, that is beginning of the ventricular systole. Right, now the second sound, dub, is produced when at the beginning of the ventricular diastole, the semilunar valves gets closed. So at that time this dub sound is produced. Okay, so once again, if we just brief it out, the first sound, lub, will be produced whenever there is a sharp closure of the tricuspid and bicuspid valve. When does this happen? When does this closure take place? Right at the beginning of the ventricular systole. When the ventricles begin to contract, that means there will be closure of those two valves so as to prevent the backflow of the blood from the ventricles back to the auricles. Alright, that time the auricles are relaxing. Then you have to remember the second sound, dub, is actually produced when, there is beginning of the ventricular diastole. That means now the ventricles are about to relax. So when they relax, okay, that means there will be sharp closure of the semilunar valves. Okay, now what are the semilunar valves? It is present in the base of the aorta and the base of the pulmonary artery. Okay, so then these sounds are produced. So therefore we have the two sounds, lub dub, that is there. Okay, so now what is a pacemaker? Alright, what is this pacemaker? We do not know. It must be a new term to us. So whenever we talk about actually a pacemaker, it is actually an electronic device used to pace the heart when the normal conduction pathway is damaged or diseased. You must have heard that in your most of the old people, and some even, okay, who are of mid-age, okay, they have gone under, the introduction of pacemaker in the heart. Why? Because the heart was not able to function properly. The impulse that was supposed to be conducted in the heart, that was not going on well, as a result of which what will happen? Okay, therefore the heartbeat doesn't arise. So you have to generate that heartbeat, that lub dub. That means there has to be an impulse over there. Okay, so that cannot be generated. So the impulse or the command which starts the heartbeat actually, okay, if that impulse or command is not happening, then the heartbeat won't start. Yes or no? The contraction and the relaxation of the heart doesn't take place. So how will you get the sound? So how will the heart function? because the valves will not close, okay, and there'll be improper functioning of the heart. So therefore in such people, artificial this thing is introduced, device is introduced, that is a pacemaker. When we say pacemaker, they will now help in the generation of the impulse or the command which will start the heartbeat. Okay, now usually if you look at it, okay, if you look at the diagram out here, always remember that it is at this SA node. What is this SA node? Sinoatrial node. So it is at this region, okay, that the impulse will generate. All right, SA node. So the impulse generates over there. Okay, where is this located? Can you see it's located on the walls of the right auricle? Okay, this is your right auricle. So on the walls of the right auricle, we have our SA node, and it is at this region, okay, that the impulse will generate. Okay, and after that, okay, it's generated, then it will slowly, okay, extend to the Purkinje fibers. Okay, then it will extend to the Purkinje fibers, and then finally to the bundle of His and all, and then it's gonna show you. So you do not have to remember so much in detail, okay, it's not that detailed in your syllabus. You just have to remember what is actually a pacemaker. Okay, and where does the impulse in the heart usually begin? So it begins at the SA node. The pacemaker, that is SAN, sinoatrial node, is present near the opening of the superior vena cava and the AVN, that is your anterioventricular node. That means somewhere out here in this region, that is in the right auricles, okay, somewhere here. Okay, and a bundle of muscles, fibers are present. Okay, just below that there is a bundle of His. Okay, and this bundle of, that means from this SA node the impulse is going to reach the bundle of His. From this His bundles, then it extends to the Purkinje fibers, and then this is how the impulse is conducted over there. Alright, so this is all about a pacemaker. Nothing as much you have to remember. Sometimes, you know, the pacemaker might become faulty, causing heart trouble. So therefore an artificial pacemaker may be fixed in the heart of such a person. So usually, normally the pacemaker is which one? The pacemaker is our SA node, sinoatrial node, which is located somewhere in between this AVN node and the your opening of the superior vena cava. And you can see that, okay, this SA node, when it stops functioning properly, then what will happen? Then we introduce a artificial pacemaker, because it is from this region SA node that the impulse is generated, sent to bundle of His, and then to the Purkinje fibers. This is the series you have to remember. The impulse is sent from SA node to your bundle of His, then to your Purkinje fibers, and this is how it's going to generate your heartbeat. Okay, so sometimes this pacemaker, this SA node, okay, becomes faulty in people, and that time you have to remember that we are going to introduce an artificial pacemaker. Okay, we are going to introduce an artificial pacemaker. All right, the electronic device will be introduced so that the impulse continues and the heartbeat takes place. I hope this pacemaker is clear. Please remember sinoatrial node, SA node. What is the full form? It usually comes for exam in your ICSE. Sinoatrial, so SINO, sinoatrial, ATRIAL, atrial node. All right, now we move on to our very, very important thing and interesting, that is our blood vessels. Okay, so in our circulatory system, we have said that we have heart, we have blood, and we have these three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Okay, so if we go in detail of this arteries, veins, and capillaries, step by step, we will see what it is all about. Okay, so I'm just placing this arteries, veins, and capillaries. I'm just taking a longitudinal cross section of it, and I'm just trying to view. All right, if you look at this artery, you can see that the walls of the arteries are very thick. Can you see that? The walls of the arteries are very thick, and there are so many layers are there. Tunica medica, this pink layer is the tunica interna, that inner one, and then you have tunica externa. There are 3 layers, and all these 3 layers are thicker compared to the veins, the walls of the veins. You can see out here. And capillaries, they have a very thin wall. Okay, this is what we have to know. So you can look at, you can compare according to the diagram. You can feel that which one has a thicker wall. So always remember, arteries, they have a thicker wall, and you're asked to draw the diagram in exam. Okay, that is of your arteries, veins, and capillaries, all the 3 blood vessels. And sometimes indirectly you're asked, whenever you are doing the diagram of your excretory system, or the questions based on your excretory system, that is your renal artery and renal vein, you're asked to draw the cross section of the renal artery and renal vein. At that time, do not get confused. Oh, what am I supposed to draw? Since it's written renal artery and renal vein, Miss did not teach. It's nothing like that. Renal artery means it's an artery, and renal vein, it's a vein. So you have to draw this diagram. Am I clear to all of you? Alright, so if we go step by step, let's proceed with our artery first. Okay, so an artery is actually a vessel which carries blood away from the heart. what does it do? It carries blood away from the heart towards any organ. That means you all know, okay? Then you have to remember that it has thick muscular walls, a narrow lumen. So the new lumen out here, you can see it is a narrow, and they have thick muscular walls. Okay, now the blood in arteries, it flows in spurts. Spurts means with full pressure. Okay, so which correspond to the ventricular contractions of the heart. That means whenever there is a contraction, ventricles when they contract, means what? They are going to pump the blood throughout the body. Okay, at that time, you know, the arteries have to carry it to different regions. Also, these walls of these arteries has to be, you know, very, very thick and, you know, very, very strong, so that when there is full force of pumping from the ventricles and the blood is going to flow in full force in these arteries, so the walls, if they are not strong, they will burst and the blood will just come out. Okay, so that's why, to prevent those things, okay, since the blood flows in spurts in case of your arteries, okay, as the ventricles are going to pump the blood when they contract, so the walls of the arteries are very, very thick and the lumen is very narrow, and the blood is flowing under high pressure in the arteries. Okay, so when we come to our veins now, okay, now we're talking about veins. So they have thin muscular walls. You can see out here, the lumen is big, all right, and in the veins, you know, the blood flows slowly and uniformly. So therefore, if it is flowing slowly and uniformly, what happens is that there is chances of backflow of blood in the veins. How does it prevent it? So there are special structures present in the veins, and they are known as our valves. What are they known as? Valves. So the blood vessel which contains valve is your veins. So these valves will close and open. Okay, so if it is closing, it will try to prevent the backflow of blood. Okay, so valves, you will get a question. Okay, valves are present in the vein, or the vein shows the presence of valves. Give reason why. So as to prevent the backflow of the blood, as the blood in the veins flows slowly and uniformly. Whereas in arteries, we do not require valves because the blood is flowing with full force and high pressure. So there's no chance of backflow. Okay, the walls of the arteries are very, very thick. Okay, why? Because the blood will flow in spurts as the ventricles are going to pump it to the different parts of the body, and you know that it is the arteries that will carry all the pumped blood to different organs and different parts of your body. Okay, all right. So if I say artery, what does it do? It is a blood vessel which carries blood away from the heart towards different organs, and a vein is a vessel which conveys the blood away from the organs and bring it to the heart. Okay, so the veins will contain thin pocket-shaped valves and whose openings face in the direction of the heart actually. So these valves will prevent the backflow of the blood. Okay, now the smallest or the final branch of an artery. The smallest branch or the final branch of an artery is called your arteriole. All right. Arterioles are highly muscular and can change their diameter anytime. Okay. Now the arteriole breaks up into capillaries. Right, so if you look at this, we can see out here, the diagram out here, this is the artery, the walls are very thick, the lumen is narrow. In case of your vein, you can see that, okay, the lumen is big and the walls are thin, and you can see a structure present out here, this muscular flap-like structure, that is your valve. Right, now this artery, the smallest branch of this artery is called your arteriole, okay, and this arteriole will finally end up into your capillaries. All right, from this capillaries, venule will arise. Okay, what will arise? Venule. And from this venule, the veins will arise. The smallest branch of your veins is your venule. So from the capillaries, venule will arise. From the venule, the vein arises. So this capillaries is between these two. Can you see out here this diagram? It's very, very important for your ICSE. Okay. That means the artery is going to break up into your small branches, that is your arterioles, okay, and from there your capillaries, okay, will arise. From these capillaries, okay, this will be there, venules will arise, and from the venules the vein will arise. That is what they want to see. So this artery branching into arteriole, and then you have your capillaries out here, and then from this, okay, venules will arise. From the capillaries, the venules will arise, which will lead to the formation of your vein. I hope it's clear now. And in between there are tissue cells, and they are going to be filled with spaces, okay, a liquid are there. All right, I hope you all are understanding. Okay, so whatever we are doing out here, this end, so that means this artery is going to branch into its smallest form, that is your arteriole. Okay, and from this arteriole what will arise? Capillaries will arise, and in this capillary, from this capillaries, venule, the smallest branch of the veins, will arise, and from that you have your vein. I hope it's going clearer. Alright, now moving on to capillaries, we should know that a capillary is a very narrow tube. Okay, its walls consist of single layer of squamous epithelium. That means which type of epithelial cells is made up of? The capillaries, it's squamous epithelium, and it has no muscles. Okay, the total number of blood capillaries present in the whole body is almost inconceivable. Alright, now if you look at the functions of the capillaries, it's very, very important to allow the outward diffusion of oxygen into the intracellular fluid, and from there into the tissue cells. Okay, so these capillaries will help in the diffusion of the gas like oxygen and all from them into the tissue cells. Okay, it also allowed the inward diffusion of the carbon dioxide. That means exchange of gases will take place. And why the walls of the capillaries are very, very thin? So as to allow this exchange of gases. All right, and therefore they even allow the leukocytes, that is the WBC, to squeeze out through this capillary walls. That means through these capillary walls the WBCs will squeeze out, because the walls are thin, not from the arteries and veins, it cannot squeeze out. Okay, so you have to remember that the walls of the capillaries are, okay, very, very thin. So once the blood is flowing into this region, okay, it is from these walls of the capillaries that the WBCs will squeeze out and reach the place wherever there is injury or whenever there is a defense needed in our body. Okay, so the capillaries, they have the power of dilating, okay, that is vasodilation, and contracting, that is your vasoconstriction. That means they can dilate, that is vasodilation. Dilate means what? They can become big in the diameter, and they can even constrict the diameter, that is your vasoconstriction, and they will allow the blood to, and this is how they will regulate the flow of blood, through vasodilation and vasoconstriction. So in your exams, arteries and veins, very, very important from the diagram point of view also, and from the difference point of view. We have the structural difference. Okay, you have to know, and you have to know the definition of your arteries and veins. That is given in your book, page number 99. I want you all to go through that. I want you all to even go to the diagram given on page number 98 about the artery, veins, and even, okay, the diagram of the capillaries given on page number 99. Okay, that is very, very important, comes for exam to label it, and then questions are based on this. That means this diagram is really, really important. You should be knowing what is where, and you have to label it. And finally, you should know the functions of the capillaries and why the walls of the capillaries are very, very thin, so as to allow the exchange of gases.